Another day in paradise in the glorious sunshine. Jim's managed to finish the OEC. If you remember, 1932, fantastic bike made in Portsmouth, overhead cam, very advanced for its time, 4-cylinder, 28-degree V4. These are exceptional forks, the duplex forks, early record breakers. Noel Pope, Fernahoe, Joe Wright, all used these forks because in a straight line, there was no tank sloppers. It literally went straight all the way. Very advanced again. You see on the front here, you've got twin cam front brake, and they work twice as well as a single cam. You've got a nice dashboard here, clock, speedometer, oil meter, amp meter, fuel gauge. You see the fuel gauge here? It works on a corkscrew, so that as the tank goes down, it winds the needle backwards or upwards when it comes up. Money was no option in those days. The cost of manufacturing those is just horrendous. Like most of the components. Have a look this side, overhead cam, 4-speed gearbox. These pipes, we made all those up if you remember. Bit of a tricky job to say the least, but I'm pleased how we got that. I got all that worked out nice and neat. Lovely bit of gear. We'll start it up. Right, there you go, that's the OEC, all ready for some further testing. So we'll move on, we'll move into the workshop and see what's happening in here. Right, another day in paradise. What have we been playing at in here? Well, as you remember, I was working on the AKD. Pretty well and nearly there, I've got the whole thing up together. Like many British manufacturers, AKD used Swiss engines. This is a motor engine. 175cc, lovely engine, overhead valve, outside flywheel, twin exhaust, side inlet. If you notice the inlet track here, very advanced for its time. You see how the gases enter that way, so you get a spiral effect in the combustion chamber, so you get a far better mix and a far better charge in the cylinder. In the Swiss Grand Prix 1929, AKD finished first and second in their class, which was good going in the 175cc class. New rims, new spokes, Jim's built all those up, those are quite nice. Frames come up quite nicely too. Got the tank still to put on. There you go, the Bulldog King Dick. As you remember, King Dick spanners. Also made motorcycles in Tyseley, Birmingham. So there you go there. There's a King Dick spanner. I actually used that to get the flywheel on and off. See that big nut in there? I needed that size of socket to get it off, so that was handy. King Dick spanner, King Dick motorcycle. That's come up remarkably well, so that's it. Got the settling lights to put on, the generator. So what I'll do now, I haven't started it before, but I'll run the gauntlet. And I like to start them up as soon as possible. When you build a bike up, I must admit Jim likes to finish them completely. I like to start the engine up to make sure I don't have to rip it all out again if it don't work. So that's priming up the little oil pump here. You're not watching, but we'll put a bit of easy start in it. Right, Jim, what do you think the odds are of it starting? Not good. He's gone off, too embarrassed. Not sound good. See the flywheel, outside flywheel. It even ticks over. How about that, Jim? That's a good result. So it gives you a lot of encouragement. Go to the top of the class and hand the books out. So I can finish it off now. I put the tank on, acetylene lights, and just give it a one over. So well pleased with that. So we move on.
Latest acquisition.
The latest acquisition last Saturday, Edmund's auction over at Chippenham. I bought this here. It's from the Henry Body Collection. 1929 Rudge Speedway bike. Probably finished the last race 70 years ago. Just generally have a bit of a clean up, get some transfers for the tank and put it in the museum unrestored as found. Amel twin bowl carb, that's very special. If you come around this side here, the Jap engine's quite special too. It's an early Jap 4-stutter little oil tank gearbox which they used in the early days. They were very successful in their time. In that era, 1929-30, Wembley had probably 100,000 Speedway people watching every meeting. That's more than a football club gets today. This is a very old sign, cigarette sign. That sort of could be a Rudge there, I'm not quite sure, but it's all stacks up to be a Rudge. I don't know the jockey here, but we've got the name of a rider here.
Denny Belcher.
Denny Belcher. So that could be the jockey. I've got to do a bit of research on that and find out a bit of history on him. So Speedway was very, very popular in the early 30s. It came from Australia. It was Australian sport, and they came over to England to introduce it. There we go, another one for the museum. And we're getting ready for the Rickman Day outside, so Jim's going to fire up the matchless. Don and Derek's bikes, their own personal bikes, on loan to the museum. There we go. There we go, quite a selection of bikes, the OEC, the AKD and the Rudge Speedway bike, plus the Rickmans. So another day in paradise. Catch up with you later. Cheers.